morning. Now it's time to start dialing in the paint. If you haven't watched episode 1 and 2, we've already decontaminated the car. So the car's been decontaminated. Now it sat out at night at my house in the wash bay. You know, it's covered, but it's still out in the elements. And then I drove it a mile over here. So step 1 is going to be, I'm going to take some compressed air. I'm going to blow off, try to make sure that I get all the water, if there's any water left over, any of the cracks or crevices, and then blow the dust off, and then I'm going to wipe it down with eraser, and then we're going to work on taping. And the reason why I like to do this, one, to break up the process so that I'm not having to work for 20 hours straight, or I like to do the tape when the car's dry. I always find that if I end up trying to tape the car and tape all these areas, when right after washing there's water that's sort of pouring out, even if you blow it out, there's always leftover water, like on the taillights and things, that just tends to make the tape not stick. So the process of decontaminating at night, showing up the next morning, it breaks up the process, and then the byproduct is that I get a drier car. The only disadvantage is I've got to wipe it down before I start working on it. After we tape, we're going to start working on test spots, and I'll show you the condition of the paint, and we'll start polishing away. My guess, it's either going to be wool or microfiber cutting with Jescar correction compound. I don't think we're going to have to go to M100 or anything, or M101, anything more aggressive. We'll see how it cuts. I think this paint is kind of hard. We'll see, and then we'll finish with Sonax Perfect Finish and probably a white or yellow pad. So let's. I'm going to blow this off here and wipe it down. I'll show you that, and then we'll start taping it up. All right, so I get my compressed air system up and running. Uh-oh, got a little oil drip there. So this is what we'll be using through this whole project. I'm going to be doing lots of pneumatic polishing, as well as using the air to blow out the pads. So I've got Cox hose reels strategically placed in the corners of the car. So as I work different areas, I can swap hoses. We'll be able to connect our pneumatic polishers whenever necessary. The nice thing now is I actually have cabinets and sort of countertops. So the cabinets are almost done. I'm waiting for a couple of countertops, but I have some countertops to set some things on, which would be nice. I didn't do a cart in here. I don't think I'll need to set up a table now. I calculated this. Luckily, I did an okay job of calculating it, so I have enough room to walk around, but the car on the lift is close enough to get it where I need it to be in order to do the job. So the main workhorse for this setup is my Jenny. This is an 80-gallon. This is the W5B 80-gallon vertical tank version, really stout. I think this delivers like 22 CFM, so I could run 2 pneumatic polishers at the same time. Pneumatic polishers require lots of air. They're air pigs. They really need a pretty stout compressor. So this is a 2-stage, 175 PSI piston compressor that then feeds my filter regulator. So this is a Prevost. This is a 1/2-inch filter, pretty stout filter regulator. So I'm running 90 PSI. That's what it's set at. So I think I have this set to like 93 PSI. So I'm getting 90 at the outlet. That's what my tools require. And then that feeds my dual purification. So this is a filter as well. And then I have dual filters on my AirTac dryer system. You can hear, this basically sounds like a dorm refrigerator. So this is called a Rev 20 dryer. So I get good, clean, refrigerated, dried air that comes to my airlines. I do have to work on my drain. I'm sure there's tons of water in the tank. I've got to get that figured out. I've got a magnetic float drain, but it doesn't seem to be working. I've never seen any water come out of it, and I'm certain there's water. The water has been coming out of the secondary line here. So I've got to figure that out. I got to work on that. But this is the system that we'll be using that'll deliver air through all of our Prevost piping that's strategically placed throughout the facility. Grab my airline here and just put this new swiveling coupler on here last night. This is a darn dream, dealing with this, the cabinets, the lift, air conditioning. It's amazing. Oh man, I'm never gonna be able to go back. So this is a Prevost S1 blower. Let me turn the tank on. But look how smooth and fluid this is. It's just awesome. Actually lower the car a little bit. I'll show you the lift here in the video in a few. Okay, so the first step before I'm going to start taping is I want to wipe the car down, and it's really odd to go. I'm going over to my own shelves and pulling off towels to fill up the cabinets. I like to have 20 of each towel, and then I like to have, I guess it would be 8. Yeah, I think I have 8 of these in my cabinet at home. I like to keep 2 complete microfiber sets in my cabinet so that I'll have it when I need it. So I'm going over to the shelves and robbing it in order to stock up the shelves in my cabinet. So to wipe the car down here, I'm going to be using a combination of the Plush Waffle weave, what Rag Company calls Pluffle, and then what they call the Dry Me a River, which is the big drying towel. I'll probably end up using mostly this. Again, I don't need to use extreme care because the car's about to be polished, but again, I don't want to introduce any more scratches if I can help it. You really should wash your towels, but I just, before using them, but I don't really have a choice here. I'm just grabbing them off the shelf and just inspecting them to make sure that they're okay to use. So we don't need to soak the car down, but I am gonna hit it with a little bit of product. This is CarPro's new sprayer, which I've been wanting to test out. So you can see I'm using a decent amount. They've changed the scent of Eraser. It smells nice. I don't know. I think I like the old scent better. I definitely did. It smells a little bit more aerosol-y. So, once again, I don't think you need to do this step if you've washed the car and then went right into polishing. But because I had the car sitting out overnight, I need to go through this. Plus I drove it down the street, so I have a need to wipe it off and prep it for the onslaught of polishing we're about to do. Hood's a little warm, so we're not going to polish the hood first because it's still warm from driving here. Notice I'm dropping some lint because of the new towel. That's another reason why I like to wash the towels before. All right, so I'm going to go wipe the glass, the whole entire surface of the car, down like I just did there. So I got to take my plate frame off, but I got to try to find the tools. So let's see here. I think it might be in one of the 26. There's an SAE. There's a big 3/4 stuff. I could use that, but I think I actually have, not there. There we go. This is what I need. Sure appears it's going to take me a little while to figure out where my tools are. This looks like, yeah, see, these bolts aren't going to work. They're already rusting. It's only been a couple days. And they lost their black look to them. So we're going to remove the plate frame and the plate backing, which I should have done last night. But I knew I was going to drive over here, so I left it on. I'll have to grab the stainless ones tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be putting this back on tomorrow. These Sonic tools are, I like them. I like it even more, the total drawer organization. But I think the tools are good. They're reasonably priced. And they work. So that's good enough for me. So now that we have the car all wiped down, prepared, ready to go, let's talk about tape and what tape I like to use. So I've got a bunch of the same size rolls, some used, some not. But this is called 3M Precision Tape. This tape is, I think, the best for this application, for taping off the car prior to polishing. You'll notice that it's somewhat translucent. You can see through it to some extent. And it tears really easily. That's what I like about it most, is the tape just tears off. Whereas whether painter's tape or Scotch 233 Plus or some of the other tape, body shop type tape options, they just don't quite tear as well. It doesn't leave a residue. And the other nice thing about this type of tape, this is a Japanese, I'm sure this is, I'm guessing 3M sources this from Kamoi or something like that, or maybe 3M makes it for Kamoi. But this is the Japanese tape that I discovered at Esoteric, the Kamikaze imports. And then I found this version, this 3M version, which comes in much bigger rolls, much more accessible, and much easier to get. And so we get more product for less cost, and it's and from what I can tell, it's a similar style, similar type of thing. May even be a little bit better. So I like to have, I have the 1-inch size, the 2-inch size, and then the 1/4-inch size, which I think we may use on the roof rails. We'll see. I might just leave that. We'll see. Or what I might do is tape off the roof rails and then come back and retreat those later. So let's get cracking on taping. So I want to tape anything in question, anything that I questionable or have a question that I wouldn't want to get polish on, or I'm not sure I want to get polish on. Certainly tape anything with black plastic, like these honeycomb thingers. I'm gonna make sure that my shirt stays in front of my belt and wear the right shorts today. I can't go beltless with these, they'll fall off. This whole taping, polishing part is always fun to me for a little while. And then my guess is this is gonna be a double-digit hours into this car. It's gonna make me wanna maintain it really well, so I don't have to do this anytime soon again. You guys that polish cars every day, I feel for you. This is a lot of work. This is not easy, not an easy task. We're gonna tape off the headlights. So I'm really digging this car. I think this is it. I mean, it really woke up the car putting the catless center section, which I'm going to be yanking off here in, at some point in this detail process. Maybe when I get tired of polishing, I'm going to jack up the car, pull the center section off, and send it down the way, because I bought a Dyna Middle Racing, actually traded for it. Should be here next week when I'm at SEMA, so the car's just going to sit here. I'm not going to tape these. I'm just going to take care, because I'm going to need to polish them. We'll see if I can salvage them, because they are pretty jacked up. And there's some really rough spots, really scratched up spots, like I don't know if that's from washing or wet sanding or what. But then there's some spots that look pretty sharp. It'll be interesting to see if the repainted sections react differently than the painted sections. I meant to buy a depth gauge just to play with it on video, but I just didn't. Depth gauges to me are, it's like when people yell at me about getting an oil analysis. Just get an oil analysis, it can't hurt. And I think you're right. I think that's a fair assessment, can't hurt. But I used to do oil analysis all the time, but it doesn't really, all I do is look at it and say, okay, they say, yeah, your car's within whatever tolerances. The main advantage to an oil analysis is if you're going to be diligent about it and continue to do it. Do it from the start so you have a baseline. It's kind of like doing a dyno. You have a baseline, and then you can use the baseline to compare to the future. But like on this car, an oil analysis isn't going to tell you anything. I'm pretty sure the rod bearings are aluminum in the 2013, so I don't think it shows. The wear doesn't show in the analysis. So maybe I'll get one just to get people off my back. But again, I've had more than my fair share of oil analysis, and I just do nothing with them. But I think if a depth gauge and a gloss meter, and I want them, I should get them. I should just stop screwing around and get them. The problem is I want the Positector 3 type, you know, the one that does 3 different types of substrates. These are probably going to have to be, I'm going to probably end up having to ditch these and get some new ones because they're really jacked up. It's almost like a washer with a darn Brillo pad. So, you know, a paint depth gauge, you put it on a spot, gives you a reading. You put it on the same spot, gives you another reading. Put it on the same spot again, gives you another reading. Put it on a spot after polishing, gives you another reading, and then you just keep going with this information that isn't definitive, that really doesn't tell you anything. You know, it doesn't say, you know, even the one that gives you all 3 layers, it tells you what it thinks the clear coat is, but again, it's not definitive. In fact, it can almost give you a false sense of false positive. But again, it's a tool. It's a tool that you can use as a reference. So I should probably get one, but the one I want is like $3 grand. And the same thing with a gloss meter. You know, I sat there at Esoteric and played with it. I was really excited about that thing. You just lift it and put it back on, and it just gives you a different reading every gosh darn time. So then you're supposed to take the average. I don't know, just not. I like gadgets, and I'll probably have them, but it's not super important. I'm guessing this car has enough clear on it to do what I needed to do. If it doesn't, it's already been repainted in some spots, so it's already been tainted. But you know, again, a depth gauge isn't going to tell me. Isn't going to like say, yeah, you're about to go through the clear or you're about to compromise UV. It's more of a before and after reference. At least that's my experience with it. All right, so I'm going to keep taping, and I'll show you steps along the process. Let me walk you through all I taped, or all I chose to tape. So you saw me taping these. We taped BMW emblems front and rear. I taped the headlights. Headlights are important. If you hit that with a compound, you're going to compromise the UV, you know, the top layer, and then you basically ruin their headlights, and you'll have to wet sand them, and they'll never be the same. I taped this honeycomb grill in the bottom here. I only taped the bottom of it. The top I'm not going to hit because I'm not going to get all the way up into the edge there. I taped the intake ducts. I guess that one's an intake duct. This is whatever, just a fake duct. Let's see. I tape all the window seal, the rubber here. This really, you're not going to hurt the rubber unless you're polishing all the time. What you mainly do is pick up all the dirt the rubber has and all the black in your pad, which I don't want to pick up all that and put it in the pad. I tried taping this. This isn't going to work. As soon as I open the window, I forgot the window goes down a little bit. I did tape inside here, tape this rubber here because I'm going to have to polish all the shadow line. The expansion joint I didn't tape. I'm going to just try to avoid slopping all kinds of polish in there. You can tend to get polish in this. I'll just make sure that I don't end up with a fresh application of polish. Tape the window seal around here. I don't tape the taillights because I know I'm going to have to polish those. I'll avoid them with the compound. So I'll avoid hitting these with the compound, but we'll end up finish polishing them. That usually takes it out. BMW emblem, tape the top of the exhaust, tape the other honeycomb, and that's the taping process. Last thing I taped was just the little edge here on the gill. So that's the process of what I chose to tape on the car. So now next step is we're going to work on a test spot. So I'm going to figure out what looks best, what spot looks best, and we'll get started on figuring out how to correct this thing. Okay, I got a gear bonanza here. So we're getting set up to start to perform a test spot. And so I got out all the things that I think might be possibly, that we might possibly use for this correcting, or the figuring out what we're going to need to correct. I'm pretty certain, and we're going to do this right because I'm on camera and people are watching, but I'm pretty certain we're going to need to go right to a compound. I've had this paint for quite a while, and I'm pretty sure that it's on the harder side, so I don't think that the perfect finish is going to correct it out. I think we're going to need to go to a compound, but let's do this properly. Let's do it the way I normally would do it if I didn't know the car, and show you what you would want to do at home to figure out which type of pad and polish combination works. I've got other polishes over there, but I think we ought to be able to get it done with just the two. We have Jescar Correcting Compound and then Sonax Perfect Finish. So Perfect Finish has some cutting ability. It's what they call 4 out of 6, and then it finishes really well. So it's a 6 out of 6 finish. So this polish, just like the Jescar, these are both diminishing. So they start out with larger particles that break down as you make successive passes. So we'll see. I mean, maybe a yellow pad and some Perfect Finish will correct this. I think that, again, we're likely going to end up with Jescar. So those are the two polishes we're likely going to be working with. I've always have some eraser on hand. I got lots of yellow microfiber towels, my polish removal towels, which I'm sure are going to annoy me because I didn't wash them beforehand. They're brand new, so I'm going to be getting little pieces of microfiber all over the place. I should have washed them or brought my ones from home. But anyway, those are brand new right off the shelf. So we have a CarPro Eraser, which we'll use to wipe and test and retest as we're looking through. I've got some wool aggressive pads. I've got some wool medium pads. I've got some Meguiars Microfiber cutting pads. I've got the yellow Rupes pads. I also have some white ones over there. I have my Lake Country. These are the HDO microfiber cutting pads in 1 inch and 2 inch, in case we need those. And then the machines that I've got set up, LHR15 Mk2. This is the 5-inch Rupes. This will probably do the bulk of the car. I'll end up using this for most of it. And I just noticed that my LHR75, this is the 3-inch, doesn't have a mark. So this would be a suggestion to you. Take and make a mark on the backing plate so that you can see that the pad is moving, indeed moving. And the other thing I noticed is this is the old backing plate. This is the gray one. I'm gonna go grab a new one. All right, so this is the old. I had gotten the 75, or sorry, the 15 I'd gotten when it first came out. So this has the old backing plate. So I'm going to go to blue, which is the current backing plate. So this is the old new backing plate, meaning they had blue originally. They switched to gray, which has a slightly lighter release. And so I'm going back to blue. And hopefully I can get the washer out of this. Washer mod, this is a 10mm washer. Yes, I'm a washer mod proponent. No, I've never had my machine blow up. Yes, I'm a bit jaded because I can just go grab a new machine off the shelf if I needed one. So I guess we could factor that into the equation. But the official position of Rupes is, why the heck would you even need a washer? My position is, I think it works pretty well, so I use it. I just tuned my car, so I like to live on the wild side. Little detail that Dylan told me or taught me from Rupes. Notice the 15 says detailing on it. This is the machine that's designed for detailing. This is the machine that we should be, or that they made specifically with detailing in mind. We take our little tool, a little Allen key, and pop it back in place, and we're set up. So let's put our line on our 5-inch plate, backing plate as well. We'll show you where this comes into play. But the line is what we'll use as a reference point to make sure that our pad is rotating, especially if we're coming up on edge somewhere or doing edge work, or we have it off axis, or we have a pad that's not flat. Okay, you can always tell a Mark II because it has the gauge on the top, whereas original machine doesn't. They don't make a Mark II version of this. So we have the 3-inch, 5-inch. I'm cheating because I have a sick compressed air system, LHR15. This is the LHR15 pneumatic versus the LHR75E, which is the electric 3-inch. This requires about 12 CFM of air, so you really need a stout compressor. I should probably put a drop of oil in here to keep it fresh, but 3-inch backing plate. These don't need a washer mod because they don't contact the shroud. And then the last tool, which we'll use a ton on this car, is I forget what these are called, the H12 something or other, but this is a nano long neck. And actually, let's unbox the short neck. I got some short necks too, so I should probably use it. I shouldn't probably, but I'm going to use it. So I'm going to get my short neck out as well. And let's finish up what we have product-wise. Phoenix, I have decided the light to use is the the Phoenix, F-E-N-I-X, PD35 version 2.0. I like this better than the tactical version because this one has a sensitivity setting right here, where the tactical doesn't have that. So I think this is the light of choice. I also have the Scan Grip pen light, same as the Rupes light. Scan Grip, I don't know if this is common knowledge, but Scan Grip makes the Rupes pen light, so why not I like the Scan Grip. Scan Grip, which has a magnet on it. This is the Sun Match 2. So this is the newest light, which we'll be using to when we need more intense light. Less direct light than we have with the Phoenix. So the combination of these will be what we'll use. And I also have the Kamikaze spacing thingers. These go in your door jambs. We'll put it on the trunk to lock it in the open position. So we'll have those as well. So let's put our backing plate aside. We'll just throw it in a random cabinet since we have 1,000 of them with nothing in them. I feel like I just moved in to my new house, and I'm still trying to cook dinner. So we're getting there, getting close. So let me go grab. I'm going to go grab the short neck, so we'll have every tool that we need. I'll also probably get. I find myself very rarely using the 21. We'll probably also use the Duetto in finishing, so we'll be using the Duetto as well. And what I like to do is I like to figure out what I'm going to do to correct the scratches, and then come and figure out what I'm going to do the finish after I'm done with the car. That's just my process. So let me go grab the short neck. I don't think I'll get the 21 out, but we have it on the wall. I also have the Melee over there. I also have the gear-driven machines sitting over there as well. Again, I don't think we're going to use those, but we have them in case I need them to grab them for something. I didn't mean for this to happen, but let's do an impromptu unboxing video. LTA 75. So this is different from I need to get this in the store. If you want one of these, I got them. You need a stout compressor, but these are different from the LHR 75 in that this is a triple action, what they call triple action machine. So there's a reducing gear set in here. This has more torque. Slower speed, traditional dual action polisher, slower speed than the LHR 75. The bodies look the same. You have a little different, whatever you call this thinger. And then this has the fake carbon fiber looking trigger versus the electric, or the electric one has the fake, the LHR versus the LTA. The LHR has the carbon fiber looking plate switch thinger, or whatever you call that, trigger, versus the LTA. So we have both of these. Notice the exhaust is a little different too. This has a dual exhaust versus a single exit. This is like JDM Yo, and this is like a Mustang. So there's those two. And then it comes with in the box. Get a little bit of oil, which I probably should throw a drop. So after every use, I throw like a small drop of oil in each machine. I'll have to grab a plug too. We just take a drop and put it in there. That's all we need. This one should be oiled, so we should be okay. Put that on top. I'll have to go grab a plug in order to put that in place. So we'll play with that machine a little bit too. Maybe do a little comparison of the two. This has some kind of strap. What is this strap for? I don't know what you would need that for, but it comes with a strap. This Allen doesn't fit. I don't know why they do that, but we won't need that. We'll just toss that with the box. And we've got a short neck. They're called HR81. So this is the HR81M, which is the package. And this is 120 volt US, just to make sure it was the right one. So this is how these come. They come boxed like so, and then you get this awesome case. I actually what I was intending to do was to sell just the machine alone and not deal with all, because there's a lot of stuff in here that you won't use, or at least I don't use, but you really get a lot of stuff at really no additional cost here in the bag. So we get yellow pads, blue pads. Here's our short neck machine to compare. Now, I don't think you need both of these. My choice is the long neck. This is the one I've had for several years now, but I've been wanting to have a short neck as well, just so that I have both. You know, there are certain applications where one may be better than the other. I know a lot of people like the rotary function with this. What is this? This is oh, cool. My original one didn't have this nifty little pack. I like using the dual action function. So you have 3mm orbit, 12mm orbit, and direct drive rotary. You have a backing plate for sanding. You have a 2-inch backing plate, and then we have our tool. I like doing the dual action option. Screw this in place. Take your tool. You press on the tab up top here, and we torque this on. Okay, and then we take our 1-inch backing plate, which I like. Take our tool, hold it in place, we screw this on. You know, you don't need to torque this super tightly because it's plastic. Actually, this one's metal. I feel like my old one's plastic. Let me see. Yeah, it's metal. Whatever it is, they look the same. So there's our two different machines. And it comes with your charger. And so I'm just going to leave one charger out. But we get some microfiber towels, you get some sanding discs and some stuff like that. I don't think we'll need to do any sanding on the car. And so we'll have let's go in here like that. Sweet. So we got these two ready to roll. All right, so here's the condition of the paint. Obviously lots of love marks. These are like automatic car wash type / drying and detail spray wiping down type scratches. There are a few more aggressive ones in certain spots, but in general this is what we're looking at. When we get to the back of the car, I'll show you what that looks like. It's a little bit worse than the front of the car because, again, I believe that this has all been repainted at some point. At least I think it has. But whatever they did, you can't tell which has been repainted and which hasn't. Okay, so let's tackle this and see if we can get these out. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is blow out my pad, just to be safe, even though it looks clean. So So I got my nifty little claw pad tool. Just kind of agitate. I don't know if that does anything, but it makes me feel good. And we're going to try perfect finish first. So I'm going to semi-prime the pad, and then we're going to prime it on the fly. So I'm going to do this. I'm in the priming camp, but not crazy. I don't get too concerned about it. We just put some stuff on the pad, spread it around. This tool is awesome, man. I'm telling you. So we'll put a couple of extra dots. I'll throw it on the surface. I'm going to prime it on the fly. So I'm going to put it on speed 1. And I'm going to watch the pad. When it's primed, it'll start spinning a little bit faster. There it goes. Kind of hard to see on camera. Let's just spread it around. I'm going to come up. I always run speed 4 on this machine. I'm going to add some pressure. Nice, slow, steady arm movements. I'm leaning my pressure into this hand. So, I mean, I really could polish like this. You guys have seen me do this a lot. My tendency is to grab and steer with this hand, and then what happens is you lose your pad flatness. So if this hand is just guiding. So there's 4 passes. Let's see what that did. Little trick, always make sure you're checking your towel, even though these are new, you never know. Don't want anything to get hung up in it, cause any kind of damage. Looks good. I'm gonna fold it in quarters. I'm gonna wipe. It'd be a gosh darn miracle if we could one-step this sucker, but I have a feeling that ain't happening. Those scratches are really bad right there. I'm gonna have to go turn the lights off again. Uh-oh. That looks pretty darn good. Shoot. This is a little, I don't know if this is Jim White's deal, but this is where I learned it. You could take water. I'm just gonna take some glass cleaner. I'm gonna spray it in my bag here to keep from getting dust all over the place. You probably shouldn't use glass cleaner because it'll evaporate much quicker, but that'll hopefully keep some of the dust in the container. And I don't like, the Tornador just makes such a huge mess. So I like these more precision tipped Prevost. And that's how I do it. All right, so let's see. I don't know if you can see on camera these scratches right here, but we're gonna see if this knocks those out. Got 2 dots. Mindful of this edge here. Same thing here on a roll up into the power dome. That's 2. That's 3. Holy moly, dude. I mean, maybe it's this repainted clear that's a little softer. That is gone. And those are some pretty gnarly, oh, no, it's not. Nope, 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 nope. Those are some pretty, those look like wet sanding marks. So what's happening is the baby stuff, the little fine little scratches are coming out, but the heftier is gonna need the big boy, I think. Gonna need the correction compound. Let's just see over here. Let's see what the correction compound does. So let's try something in between here. This is a medium wool pad. So let's try this with our correction compound. I've been wanting to try this pad. So let's see how this does with our correcting compound. One thing I don't like about these is they kind of make a mess. So these are a little harder to prime as well. Now, when these are new, they kind of make a mess of wool all over the place. I'm building up quite a bit of heat there. That Jescar finishes down so nicely for a compound. I think that might be the ticket. This is a hybrid in that it's not as aggressive as the as microfiber, but then we'd use it with the correction compound. That might be the ticket, because I don't think we really need to go to microfiber. This is not good right here. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is a ticket. Really flattened out, cleaned up those wet sanding marks there. Okay, so I think the ticket is going to be this hybrid, this correcting compound with a medium pad. So here's what we're looking at in uncorrected territory. So the problem is these little marks that you're seeing there come out with the perfect finish. But then there's some more aggressive stuff throughout. So I think in order to correct this out, I think the smart thing to do is going to be to use this hybrid. I don't think I need to go all the way to microfiber. So I can go to this moderate wool pad and work out the scratches. So we didn't polish down here. So you can start to see right around here, you start to see the swirls come back in. And then we come up here and we're clean again. That looks pretty darn sharp. Lots of scratches. Look at the fender over here. This light is better for this car. See the fender? That's gnarly. So we're gonna get all that out. Whereas over here, uh-oh. Let's see one right there. Crap. I want to try microfiber. There's still some sanding marks here. You can usually tell sanding mark because they're usually straight. I mean, I'm just erring. My mind keeps telling me, hey, I can get away with yellow. No, I can get away with medium wool. And then I think I probably just need to suck it up and use the microfiber. Microfiber is extremely important that we blow out and blow out often. Well, this is a brand new pad, but I also tend to agitate microfiber often too. Yep, I think this is going to be it. Yeah. I'm not going to play the game, and I mean, hopefully I won't have to do this again to the car, at least not anytime soon, so I'm just going. Jescar correction compound. I mean, I can already tell without taking the lights out. Jescar correction. I may have to spot treat some of the deeper scratches. This color is going to come out just absolutely insane when it's done. So at least I'm going to do the whole front clip here, which should all be the same paint. and then we'll assess again on the roof as well. Because what happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, foot to the floor.